Hi, my name's Trudie, I'm a member of the IQ Bar team and I'm also one of the vloggers. This week's vlog is one in a series of vlogs about phonics. We've moved from phase 2 to phase 3 and in the last vlog we looked at vowel digraphs, and in this vlog I'll be focusing on phase 5, split digraphs. This will contain a brief summary of what phonics means and what it is, its importance and a focus on split digraphs as part of the vlog series. I've already mentioned what's covered in phase 1 and looked at phase 2, sets 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then I covered phase 3, sets 6 and 7, followed by looking at consonant and vowel digraphs. In phase 4, often this is about consolidating and refining what's been learnt so far. So in this video, I'll look at the next part in this series, which is phase 5, split digraphs. If you haven't already seen the other vlogs, which cover phases 1, 2 and 3, maybe take a look. As with phonics, it's really important to teach it systematically, so it's good to be familiar with the general order used when you're teaching it. What does phonics even mean? Phonics is a method of teaching to read by correlating sounds with symbols in alphabetical writing. Words are made up from small units of sound, which we call phonemes. Phonics teaches children to listen and identify these phonemes that make up the word, which then helps them to read and to spell. For example, in the word pit, they would hear the phonemes are p, it, and then they'd identify those with the graphemes. P, I, T. So those are the sounds that relate to the graphemes. This is known as the GPCs, the grapheme, phoneme, correspondences. There's a particular order that children learn these, which is why we have these phonics sets. So let's briefly cover why phonics is deemed to be so important. In the last few years in particular, there's been a massive shift in the UK over how they teach reading. This is having a really positive impact on helping many children to learn to read and to spell. Phonics is recommended as the first strategy that children should be taught in helping them to learn to read. This then runs alongside other methods such as guided reading and shared reading, which all attribute to developing reading skills. So why is phonics seen as so tricky? In some languages it's not, because each phoneme has just one grapheme. But in the English language, due to many invasions in our history, which has meant lots of new words and lots of new sounds, we have around 44 phonemes and 120 graphemes, which are the way of writing the phonemes. With only 26 letters in our alphabet, this means we have some graphemes that are made up of more than one letter, called digraphs. Sometimes there are also trigraphs, which are made up of 3 letters. To make it even more confusing, sometimes the graphemes can represent more than one phoneme. For example, in the word office and in the word cat, the letter C makes a different sound in each. This is just one reason why it's so important that we teach phonics systematically. So previously we looked at phase 2 and the 19 most common single sounds. Then, following this, we moved on to phase 3, which is where we introduce the remaining sounds. These are sounds that are often seen as more difficult or ones that are less commonly used, and there are around 25 of these. In this vlog we'll be focusing on phase 5, as phase 4 is generally a time to consolidate the learning so far. So this phase takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication. It's where learners are exposed to alternative spellings for sounds. They learn new graphemes, the ways of writing each sound, and alternative pronunciations for these. For example, learning that the grapheme oo, o, makes the oo sound and the sound. If a learner is at this stage, they should be becoming quicker at blending and be starting to do this silently. So what are split digraphs? First, let's start with what digraphs are. These are when you have two letters that make one sound. This can be made up of letters that are vowels or consonants. Some of you may know split digraphs as magic E. So split digraphs is just a technical term for this. All it means is that a vowel has been split. So often this magic E term is used, and actually it's really confusing because in fact there's not much magical about it. When a digraph is split by a consonant, it becomes a split digraph. For instance, in the word phone, the O sound is split by the N. Here's another example. In the word cake, the A sound is split by the consonant K. The way it was seen before is that the old magic E is added to some three-letter words, and then the E reaches back and changes the sound of the vowel before it. Often now you hear this as a smile when we're putting the dots and dashes and smiles onto sound out letters, like we can see here in this picture. Here's some examples. So for example, in the word rag, the A sound, we add an E, changes to A, and the digraph is now split by the consonant G. So adding this E and making it into a split digraph changes the sound from a short A to a long vowel sound. So let's take a look at some of these split digraphs. We have the split digraph A-E, which makes the A sound, like in the word flame. There's a split digraph O-E that makes the O phoneme, like in the word stone. There's a split digraph with the graphemes I and E, which make the phoneme I, like in the word slide. Then we have the split digraph with the graphemes U and E. This can be pronounced in two ways. It can make the U sound, like in tube, or it can make the U sound, like in the word flute. As I mentioned, please do not be overwhelmed by any of the terminology. It might seem like there's a lot to learn, but it's stuff that we already know, it's just about breaking it down. I really recommend saving a phonics family map to help familiarise yourself with the pronunciations and all of the alternative pronunciations, so it's really clear for you and it's a really good point of reference. I still use one all the time. Just bear in mind how important it is to pronounce the sounds correctly. If you're worried about pronunciation, ask. Remember, it's always better to ask than to pronounce them incorrectly. I really hope this has helped. Contact a member of the team, like your team leader, or message in the group chat for more information, and look out for my next vlog, which will focus on the continued practice of CVC words throughout the phases. See you soon. Bye.